Told my parents I was gay to avoid an arranged marriage, so now they're forcing me to marry a man. Luckily for me, there were no security alarms. I snooped through her room, found her clothes, her unwashed ones too, and stashed them to use for my own pleasure.
He's gonna have her tight up like this, you know what I'm saying? Squeezed up. He's gonna be in her ear. Hello all, and a warm welcome back. Today we're reacting to even more TikTok stories just for you. Hey, don't go just yet. You already clicked on the video, so we're gonna have to watch these together. All right, you're here with me. You can't leave now. You might as well get comfortable, or as comfortable as you can here, and venture with me here. We're gonna have a great time, I promise. Just follow me.
What's the most heinous, unspeakable crime you have committed in public? I'm an adult in my mid-20s who has a very controversial way of punishing bratty children. I'm about 6 feet 7 inches, so even when I'm just trying to be friendly and meeting a family member's or friend's kid for the first time, I've noticed they get very high between their mother's legs, intimidated on sight if I'm not sitting down. So it's not hard for me to silence and intimidate a child, especially when I'm trying to. However, a few times I've been called out for my methods of punishing bratty children. One time I was pretty drunk with a friend at a Target buying a game called Risk. This little 5-year-old, Mexican kid with a mohawk was being an insufferable little jerk in the action figure section. I heard him from like 5 aisles over and it was like nails on a chalkboard. I tell my friend, I'm gonna fart on this kid's head. Watch.
We're still doing this? We're still farting on kids' heads? I thought we did that in the first episode. I thought we were done. We're still doing this, huh? Okay. I'm glad to see it.
And learn. I saunter on over to the aisle in question and see the vile little prick calling his mom an idiot for not buying him a huge freaking G.I. Joe the movie vehicle. His mom pleads with him saying, I already bought that one for you and you broke it by throwing it down the stairs. He says, shut up. I need it. It's the only one I don't have now. The mother was younger than me and in her early 20s. She gave a defeated look and said, I don't have enough money right now. He says, you are an idiot, and continues to just berate and publicly shame this woman. At the time, I was on a strict Chipotle carnitas burrito diet. And while I was watching all this, my stomach gave me an initial warning gurgle, telling me I was about an hour away from punishing the toilet. It was as if I had found my calling and purpose in the world. I inch a bit closer to my prey, inspecting some wrestling toys and pondering the weird homoerotic-ness of the whole sport in general. The kid shouts, screw you, I hate you. The mom rolls her eyes and turns her back to the kid to ignore him. And could you believe it? The kid gets on his hands and knees and starts taking the toy out of the box. Let's go time, you piece of crap. I position my back towards him, and at this point I'm like 2 feet away from him. His head is down, getting frustrated with those goddamn twisty tie things, and I go for the kill. I bend down to reach for one of the toys on the lower shelf. At this point, my butt is inches away from this kid's head. Now, generally speaking, the best way to go about this is to act casual, drop your belly bomb, then walk away after a few seconds like nothing is out of the ordinary. I usually go one all over and listen to the kid's reaction and delight. Today I couldn't help myself. I have my head tilted back looking at this kid out of the corner of my eye, to ensure accuracy. I'm so close that from a distance it looks like I'm about to sit on him. My friend sees this happening and can no longer contain himself. He's covering his mouth, but his hyperventilating donkey chortle is fairly audible over the late 90s pop music playing on the loudspeakers. The kid immediately looks up towards the laughter, but can't help but notice there is a butt now directly in his face. Now, I'm trying not to laugh but also panicking as I just made eye contact with him. He furrows his brow and I look over in the mother's direction, still back towards us. I relish in the moment and the look on this child's confused and naive face. The initial blast was mighty and boisterous. I swear I saw his hair blowing in the wind.
Stop! Stop! Please. As the mom, at some point you have to be like, something's going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? And imagine turning back and seeing this. What do you even say? You're the mom, you just... Is there something you do?
If I wasn't wearing jeans, I think it could have probably blown over an empty soda can. I would call it a very fun fart. However, what immediately followed after I let it out of the chamber was truly horrifying. The fart's implication changed without notice and swiftly. It went from a joyous, dry air horn squeal to a nefarious, hissing muffitis. I think the little mop had noticed the hateful metamorphosis before even I did, because he wrenched his neck violently trying to get away from the personified evil being fumigated into his soul. Because of his positioning, it was all in vain, as the only way out was forward, and forward would mean certain death. I had positioned myself well on the higher ground, free to escape or relent at any time. However, the poor child was immobilized, biding his time until the cruel attack was over. Obviously, this child hadn't anticipated my strategic genius.
Honestly, I think that was a really good warm-up, if I'm being honest. That was just getting us warmed up, okay? How was that? You still okay? You still okay? You know, you're not feeling too sick yet, are you? Because we still have a ways to go. Let's venture just a little bit deeper, okay?
Told my parents I was gay to avoid an arranged marriage, so now they're forcing me to marry a man.
Huh? You say stop! No! It was just a joke. It was just a lie. You can't let this go forth. You can't. And let me not say too much yet. Let me not say. Let's keep watching.
I'm pretty straight, maybe slightly bi if we count femboys.
Yes!
My parents have recently been getting on my case about getting married. Apparently, I'm getting older, need to settle down, and give them grandchildren or something like that. Basically every time I see them, which is fairly often since they live close by, they have a new potential match for me, a picture of some new girl, and ask me if I'd be willing to meet her. It's honestly super annoying, but I'm too non-confrontational to really put my foot down and say, I don't want an arranged marriage. After all, if I do, there'd be an argument or at minimum some interrogation about why I don't want one. Anyway, I was thinking of ways I could get them to stop harassing me about getting married, and the idea and the title popped up in my head. I decided it'd be a lot easier to just come out as gay than to explain why I didn't want an arranged marriage. My parents were fairly conservative but weren't the type to disown their kids. And if I just said I was gay, I'd have a solid reason to not get an arranged marriage.
See, why is he already shooting for the moon here? You don't even need to. So he's more willing to say that he's gay than to just say he doesn't want the arranged marriage. Come up, any lie will work. You can come up with any lie. Mom and Dad, I
didn't like girls. So, that's what I ended up doing last time I was visiting. They were showing me pictures of some girl, and I just looked them in the eyes and said, Mom, Dad, I'm gay. They got really quiet and awkward and asked me if I was sure, and I said yes. My mom told me they'd love me no matter what and to do what makes me happy. My dad was a lot more awkward and quiet but later gave me a similar talk about how he was a bit uncomfortable with the idea but recognized that times are changing and I should do what makes me happy. Overall, I did feel kinda bad because of how genuinely my parents seemed to respond to me, but I was happy with the result. They stopped giving me arranged marriage proposals and stopped showing me pictures of girls. That is until last weekend. I visited them as usual and was greeted by my mom, who was more excited than usual. She sat me down and pulled out a binder with a bunch of pictures of guys. Apparently, my parents...
Wow, well, honestly, you can't be surprised. You can't. They were showing you pictures of girls when they thought you liked girls. Now you say you like guys. You think that they're just not gonna... They have something for you. Hey, you thought you were off the hook? No, boy. I got a lineup. Young men fresh. They're good for you. We got them. This is exactly what we knew was gonna happen. We can't be shocked. Come on. You know your dad is smiling. He's like, you know, hey son, how you doing? This is, wow. Were the girls really that ugly? Like, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Were the girls really that ugly that you couldn't have just gone with one? Because let's be real. No one wants their marriage to be arranged, right? But if the girl looks good, would you say no? They show you Margot Robbie and they're like, we have her here. She said that she's down to marry you. We have the arranged marriage. What are you going to say? No? I'm there in the tuxedo, bow tie. Dum, 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 dum.
Had spent the last month or so looking for any and all gay Hindu Indian men whom I could potentially marry. So now I guess I'm dealing with the exact same issue, but instead of being greeted with pictures of cute Indian girls, I get to see pictures of gay Indian dudes instead. F my life.
He said cute Indian girls. Why didn't you just say, you know what, this one's actually really, you know, I can at least see what happens here. He just didn't want it, and now look where he's at. He's in the lions den. He's in there with the lions, with the snakes, if you know what I'm saying.
At this point, the plan is to either find a girlfriend and tell my parents she totally turned me straight, or maybe marry a twink or something. I don't know. Update. The weekend after I made the post, I visited my parents as always, and resolved myself to tell them the truth. However, when I got there, my mom has always pushed the binder into my hands, and I kinda lost my resolve to tell her. I decided to just play along. It was then that I remembered the people on this thread who made fun of me for liking femboys and questioned whether or not I was really straight. I kinda took that to heart and decided to look at the binder of dudes in earnest to see if I liked any of them. To be honest, I'm really glad I did. Most of the dudes were unattractive as expected, but I found a dude on there who I legitimately think is cuter and more feminine than the vast majority of girls I've seen. I told my mom I liked him, and she kinda joked around, asking me what the point of being gay was when I wanted a dude who looked like a girl anyways. She talked to his parents, we had a meeting set up over Zoom, and overall it went really well.
Stop! 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 The lie is turning true. Why are you so down all of a sudden? Before, you didn't want it at all. Now they switched to guys and you're like, actually, let me do a date?
He and I have many common interests, and he also disclosed that he apparently cross-dressed in private, which only made me like him more. In the end, though, we both decided we didn't want to rush into marriage and wanted to do a dating trial run of sorts. I told my parents, and they were fine with it. My dad literally just told me that as long as we have marriage as an eventual goal and don't have intimacy before marriage, they didn't mind if we dated. Luckily he lived in the same state as me, but he was still a 3-hour drive away. So we've mostly just had Discord calls and spent time together gaming for the past few weeks. This Saturday though we finally managed to meet up in person and have a date, and honestly I think I'm kinda in love. He's cuter than any girl I've ever met, but unlike most girls, he's actually into the same things I am. Anyway, we ended up having a great day out on Saturday, and I ended up staying at his place over the weekend, though surprisingly I kept my promise to my dad and somehow avoided having intimacy. I'm now back home and extremely happy with my decision to lie to my parents. Then again, is it really lying if it turned out to be true?
Stop. We've all heard enough, haven't we? Good one. These are getting good, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, these are getting really good. These are beautiful.
What was the nastiest thing you have ever done? I used to attend a gym and quickly developed a crush on a beautiful girl. We're going to call this girl L. This girl was fairly tall, had fair skin, beautiful curly blonde hair, and had the best figure in the gym. She was always playful and had a vibrant personality. Every guy tried to talk to her, but they were all rejected. I tried making small talk, but it never went any further than a simple hello. This was around the time I began fantasizing about stalkers. A few months into obsessing over her, I could not take it. I went online and found some sketchy websites, other stalkers talking about their experiences. I went on to ask them questions about how to go about it, how to make sure you don't get spotted. I went all out. Little by little I found out information about her, about where she lives, where she studies, what she studies, her hobbies outside the gym, and the more I knew the more I loved. I found out about her little quirks, her hobbies. I would stay up all night browsing her social media trying to figure out where she would be. I would watch her as she entered the gym and would make sure to be there when she leaves too. Eventually I found out that she was going on holiday in Paris with her mother. From my discoveries, I found out her dad left and their house was vacant.
This isn't going where I think it's going. He's not gonna go into her house. He's not gonna go into her house. He's not.
Are you sure about that?
Right? Understand that. Me and you can understand that. He's not going to the vacant house. He's not.
The night they left, I broke in. I picked the lock.
Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
Luckily for me, there were no security alarms. I snooped through her room, found her clothes, her unwashed ones too, and stashed them to use for my own pleasure. I came back the next day, and the day after, collecting more items. I would use her toothbrush and imitate being her. I wanted her more than life itself. I even succumbed to the urge of licking the ends of her.
What is happening? Why are you doing this again? What does this do for you exactly? You go to her house. She's not even there. You said you wanted to be a stalker. She's not even there. You're just there, just goofing off. You're not even doing anything. What's the purpose? I'm lost.
Adult toys. I would go through her bins. I found used tissues and admired them. They looked so divine. I found her nail polish and daydreamed about how pretty she looks getting a manicure and pedicure. I could not hold it anymore. I sat on her bed and rubbed one out there and then, but not before lightly staining the bed sheets with my fluids. I realized I had messed up and used my best to clean it out. I was able to do so successfully. I kept doing this until the day they returned. To my great disappointment, when I came by on night number 6, the car was there. I decided I had done enough damage and never went back, but I still keep all the items I took. They are my prized possessions. I see her in the gym, doing her exercises, completely unaware of me, and that brings me joy, as I can love her from a distance, and that is enough for me.
We're getting deeper. We're getting deeper, guys. Wow, huh? I'm starting to see a bit of a trend here. It seems as though people are scared to do the simple thing. So instead, they take it 10 steps further. That's what seems to be happening here. Why?
My online girlfriend turned out to be unbearable in real life, so I left her stranded in the middle of nowhere and ghosted her. My online girlfriend of 6 months recently made plans to visit me in real life for the first time, and I was super amped for this. We talked daily up until this point, with one of the main points of conversation being me losing my V card to her. She had already lost it to her second cousin while drunk.
What the heck? No! We have to stop with this cousin lore, with this cousin bot lore. This is crazy. So you heard that and you were like, okay, I'm down, girl.
Wouldn't be her first time. Anyways, she was honestly one of the prettiest girls I had ever seen from the pictures and had a very adorable personality. Well, as soon as I met her at the airport, I realized I had made a grave mistake and instantly started regretting all those times I rubbed one out to her. I should have suspected that something was up by the fact she would only send me pictures in baggy clothing and only top-down angles. But at the time I failed to piece that together. I imagined her being average from. But Shawty was far from average. Shawty was humongous with her double chin hanging to her collarbone. I greeted her more or less in figure, but just because she was obese this did not mean I had to treat her like crap or make an excuse to leave. We grabbed some food at the local McDonald's and I watched in awe as she scoffed down 22.
Of course she went to McDonald's, huh?
Chicken nuggets and a large Big Mac meal. The thing was, the more I got to know her, the more I started to resent ever talking to her. The first problem was her breath stank, and when she gave me a big kiss for the first time I fought the urge to gag. All those defects aside though, the girl was incredibly nice to me and super sweet. She wanted to get to know me, and when I offered to go for food, she turned it down, saying she was too embarrassed about her weight to eat in front of someone. Instead of food, then I suggested I show her around the city center, and so that's what we did. I was not enjoying myself at all though, as being seen walking around town with a beluga who kept trying to peck my cheek was crushing my self-worth. I could see that she was really excited and happy to see me, but every time I looked at her I just wanted to run away. What made it even worse is that halfway through me giving her a tour I got a notification in my boys group chat. The notification was a photo of me and the girl from afar.
Oh, you! The secret ops got a photo of you and the beast? Oh, man.
Roasting me for being with a fat girl. I now felt so humiliated I couldn't take it anymore. I ended up suggesting we take a train to a different city because it has a really cool history museum. She was a history nerd and ended up jumping at the idea. A 2-hour train ride later we arrived at the city. I ended up excusing myself to the bathroom and told her to wait there for me. I did not go to the bathroom, however. I snuck out via a back door which was attached to the bathroom. I blocked her immediately and ended up catching a bus home, leaving her stranded with no money and no way to contact me.
He bounced, right? As I know, when he saw the photo his heart dropped. He couldn't believe, he just said, yeah, I'm bouncing. Even though he should have left after the cousin. Don't think I forgot about the cousin. I think we've reached our last one for today. Let's make it a good one, okay? I have one more saved. Let's see what's going on. Let's see.
I took my wife to work. Now my boss is in love with her. Now I know what you're thinking. Every man thinks their wife is the most beautiful woman in the world. But trust me when I say, my wife is stunning. Anyway, with great beauty comes great attention. And let me tell you, the kind of attention she gets could make the most secure guy feel like he's holding on to a winning lottery ticket in a windstorm. There was this one time we were at a coffee shop, the kind of place where they write your name wrong on purpose for the gram. She just walks up to the counter, orders her usual, and bam! The barista is tripping over his own feet to give her the coffee on the house. "It's on me today," he said, winking like he's the first guy ever to come up with this move. I rolled my eyes so hard I saw my brain. And don't get me started on the grocery store. She's picking out avocados, right? And this guy comes up, pretending to be confused about which ones are ripe. "Could you help me?" he asks, batting his eyelashes like he's auditioning for a mascara commercial. Next thing I know, she's not only helped him pick out avocados but also got a discount from the manager for being such a delightful customer. I mean, come on. I'm lucky if I can get a self-checkout machine to acknowledge my existence. It's not just the little things, either. There was the time we went to a car dealership, just to browse. She was casually admiring a sleek sports car, the kind that's more expensive than our house, and the salesman practically tripped over his own feet to offer her a test drive. He glanced at me like I was the chauffeur who had mistakenly been allowed to sit in the front seat. By the end of the day, we walked out with a year's worth of free car washes. We didn't even buy anything. So, when the annual office Christmas party rolled around, I had my reservations about bringing my personal Aphrodite into an environment filled by cheap wine and corporate ambitions.
You're not going.
I mean,
You're not.
These events are notorious for awkward conversations and even more awkward dancing. Bringing her felt like walking into a lion's den with a stake strapped to my chest. But she wanted to go, excited to see where I worked, meet my colleagues, and frankly, show off a stunning dress she'd found for the occasion.
No, you're not going. I'm going. I'm surprised I'm going. I don't even want to go. So you stay here. I don't need this. You know, my boss goes there.
How could I say no? Spoiler alert, I couldn't. I had this nagging feeling.
You can.
Like I was about to make a monumental mistake. Not because I didn't trust her or my coworkers, okay, maybe I didn't trust Phil from accounting, but because I knew the kind of attention she would attract. It was like willingly jumping into a shark tank covered in chum. I tried to brush off these feelings as we got ready, her looking like a goddess among mortals, me, well, trying not to look like I just crawled out of a laundry hamper. But as we left for the party, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was about to learn a lesson the hard way. Are you ready for this? I asked, trying to sound more confident than I felt. She smiled, that earth-shattering smile, and took my hand. It'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen? Famous last words, right? Little did I know, the night would unfold in ways I couldn't have imagined, marking the beginning of an evening that would be talked about in office lore for years to come. And not necessarily for the reasons one might hope. We arrived fashionably late, or so I thought. The moment we stepped in, it was as if we had walked onto the set of a peculiar sitcom where my wife was the leading lady, and I was, well, the forgettable extra. The transformation was instantaneous. Colleagues who barely nodded at me in the hallways were now flocking around us, or, more accurately, her. Wow.
Get back! Get back! I need space, I need air! Where's the boss? That's what I keep thinking. Where's the boss? I don't even want to hear about the boss.
You look stunning tonight, exclaimed Tom from marketing, his eyes nearly popping out of his skull. Absolutely breathtaking, chimed in Jerry from sales, who I'm pretty sure had never used words with more than 2 syllables before. She handled it with grace, her laughter light and friendly, as she thanked them. I tried to mingle, but it was like trying to join a conversation in a foreign language. Eventually, I retreated to the safety of the buffet table, nursing a drink and watching the spectacle unfold. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, the boss made his grand entrance.
Oh no!
I'm scared of the boss. I'm scared of the boss. My heart is beating. My heart is beating. I'm scared of the boss. The boss is here.
Believed his own hype, a smooth talker with a charisma that could sell sand in the desert. Tonight, his target was clear. Ah, the belle of the ball, he exclaimed, making a
What? What did he say? The belle of the ball? Yeah, it's up. It's up. You've never heard a guy say the belle of the ball. You've never heard it. Where does he? This isn't Beauty and the Beast. The belle of the ball. I can imagine him. The belle of the ball. What? Ah, it's over. It's over.
Or her, to be exact. I must say, you outshine the Christmas decorations. She laughed, a sound that seemed to draw more attention. Thank you, that's very kind of you to say. The conversation that followed was something out of a flirt.
This guy thinks that he's somebody he's not. This is why I'm scared of the boss. He's a character from someplace. You outshine the Christmas decorations. Ah! The belle of the ball.
Flirtation manual, with the boss laying it on thick. Compliments about her dress, her laugh, her eyes, nothing was off limits. I watched, a lump forming in my throat, as she responded with polite laughter, not encouraging but not discouraging either. Would you honor me with a dance? He asked, extending his hand with the confidence of a man used to getting what he wants. She hesitated, looking over at me. I gave a tight-lipped smile, the kind that said, I'm fine, but only because I have to be.
You should have stopped this long before. As soon as he said, the belle of the ball, I would have left. I would have took her hand and we would have left. Done. Instantly. I'm done. Now he's gonna dance. Look. He's gonna have her tight up like this. You know what I'm saying? Squeezed up. He's gonna be in her ear. The belle of the ball. You know, he's gonna be in her ear, you know, rubbing on her. May I have this dance? You outshine the Christmas decorations, madame.
As they danced, I could see him whispering in her ear, making her laugh. He was smooth.
I told you! I'm not making this up. They call him the boss for a reason.
He knew exactly what to say, when to touch her arm, when to pull her a bit closer. And she seemed to be enjoying the attention. Not in a flirtatious way, but in the way one enjoys the sun after days of rain. The night wore on, and with each passing hour, the boss made sure she was never without a drink in her hand. I tried to interject, to join their conversation, but it was like trying to break into a fortress with a toothpick. Finally, the party began to wind down, and it was time to leave. The ride home was silent at first, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Then I couldn't hold it in any longer.
There's a part 2. I have it here. I have it here this time. I saved it.
I couldn't hold it in any longer. Don't you think you were a bit too friendly with the boss tonight? I blurted out, regretting the words as soon as they left my mouth. She turned to me, her brows furrowing. Too friendly? He's my boss. What did you expect me to do? Snub him? It's not about snubbing him. It's about boundaries. He was clearly interested in you, and you just laughed and danced with him. She sighed, a long, weary sigh. Look, I get it. It's not comfortable seeing someone flirt with your spouse. But think about it. If I had acted cold or distant, that could reflect badly on you. Do you really want to be on his bad side? I hadn't thought about it that way. In my mind, it was a simple matter of right and wrong.
Wow, she's a smooth talker too, huh? Did you really want him on your... Is this a movie scene or something? This can't be real life. She's a character too. Did you really want to be on his bad side? I didn't know you cared about my work life.
Wrong, but the world, especially the corporate world, was rarely that black and white. But it's not just about work, is it? I pressed, my voice softer now. It felt like you enjoyed his attention. She looked out the window, the passing streetlights casting shadows on her face. Maybe I did, a little. It's nice to feel appreciated, to be seen. But it doesn't change how I feel about you. Can't you understand that? Her words hit me like a cold shower. Was I being too possessive? Too insecure? Or was it normal to feel this way when someone like the boss was clearly stepping over the line?
Boss.
The aftermath of the Christmas party hung over me like a cloud of smog, choking every rational thought with doubts and insecurities. So, when the boss summoned me for a meeting first thing Monday morning, my stomach was a tangle of knots. I imagined every scenario from being reprimanded for my wife's alleged flirtations to being outright fired for not being able to control the situation. I rehearsed apologies and defenses as I walked to his office, my palms sweaty and my heart racing. The secretary gave me a nod, her eyes hinting at a commiseration that did nothing to ease my nerves. Ah, come in, come in. The boss...
What's with this guy? What's with this guy? And the the bell of the come in, come in. Who does this guy is I want to see this. I want to see a picture of this guy. He has to be different.
Boss greeted me with a wide smile, the kind that precedes either very good news or very bad news. He gestured for me to take a seat, and I did, my mind racing with possibilities. I'll get straight to the point, he began, folding his hands on the desk. My heart skipped a beat. This was it, the moment of truth. Your wife, he said, and my heart sank. Here it comes. She's quite the charmer, isn't she? I haven't seen someone light up a room like that in years. Reminds me of my younger days. I blinked, taken aback. This was not the conversation I had braced myself for. Thank you? I managed, confusion lacing my voice. He laughed, a hearty sound that filled the room. No, thank you. It's not often we see such vibrancy at our events. But that's not why I called you here. He paused, as if for effect, and then continued, I believe she'd be a perfect fit for our team. We've been looking for someone to head our new community engagement project.
Stop. How does it get worse? How could this get even worse? Somehow, huh? We went from the belle of the ball. I thought we were at rock bottom. Then he started dancing. When to whisper in her ear. He knew when to touch her, pulled her closer. To now she... Stop. I'm done. The end of the video, huh? Thank you for sticking with me here and helping me venture into the depths of wherever it is we are. I appreciate you. I'll be back. You'll be back. We'll be back. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like the video. Can't forget that. I need to tell you. And catch ya.